Good evening. I am subbing for Trudy today, and I know very little what I'm doing, so I'm going to be looking over at Noreen a lot. We're going to call to order. Do I need to do the date?
Yes.
Today is January 14th, and we're running a little behind because of a projector problem. It's 6:36. And we'll do roll call.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and do that. Starting with you, Vice Chairperson Sewell.
Here.
Commissioner Anderson.
Here.
Commissioner Gornitsky, welcome.
Present.
Did I say that right, by the way? Okay,
Yes.
thanks, Christine. Commissioner Greenlee.
Here.
Commissioner Ocampo.
Here.
Commissioner Sims.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move to adoption of the agenda, and there's one change. We're going to move in 7 old business. C is going to move to after D.
I like to,
Do we,
Actually, the lettering's off now that I look at it, so it should be after Sierra Point Park Planning.
So C moves to between D and E.
Yeah.
I like to.
I'll
approve.
second the motion.
Great. Approval of the minutes from November 12th, 2025.
Sorry, Tom, we're just going to back up.
Yep.
Since we're actually proposing a change to the agenda, we'll go through our roll call.
Okay, great.
So I think we had Natalie and then Byron. Is that right? Okay, thank you. Just need to make a note of that. Okay, roll call time. Vice Chair Sewell.
Approve.
Commissioner Anderson.
Approved.
Commissioner Gornitsky.
Approve.
Commissioner Greenlee.
Approve.
Commissioner Ocampo.
Approve.
Commissioner Sims.
Approve.
Thank you.
All right. Approval of minutes, November 12th, 2025.
I'll move to adopt the minutes.
I'll second.
Whoa, cool.
Hey, all right, we have enthusiasm.
Zoom stereo.
So I think that was Byron, and we'll just say that was Lisa.
Woohoo.
And actually, I think we're gonna have Natalie and Christine abstain just because you were not present
Correct.
at that meeting. All right, so let's go through our roll call. Vice Chair Tom.
Approve.
Commissioner Anderson.
Approve.
Commissioner Greenlee.
Approve.
Commissioner Sims.
Approve.
Thank you.
Citizen communications.
Do we have anything, Michael? In that case, no.
We have fans. Wow. All right. Presentations. Acknowledge Renee Commerford for outgoing commissioner. Wow, I'm kind of emotional with this. How do we do this?
I'll say a few words, and then if any of your commissioner colleagues want to add anything at the end, they're welcome to do so. I'm disappointed that the projector is not working because we had a slideshow of images. But people on Zoom will be able to see them, and oh, there you go, Michael. They'll be able to see them on the dais. So it's my honor to take a moment to acknowledge you, Renee, for your 4 years of service on the Parks and Recreation Commission. You always demonstrated an enthusiasm and a willingness to understand. You never hesitated to ask the difficult questions to create a higher level of understanding when it came to a project or a policy or an initiative. So really appreciated your willingness to roll up your sleeves and do the hard work. And that's reflected in your volunteerism project at the Quarry Trail entrance as well. Staff have appreciated the opportunity to collaborate with you over the years, and you've been a joy to work with. So thank you very much for your dedication. With that, I'll go ahead and read the formal acknowledgement, and we have a hard copy for you here as well, and a little gift. The City of Brisbane formally recognizes Renee Commerford for her service on the Parks and Recreation Commission. Over the course of her 4-year term, Renee acted in an advisory capacity to City Council on matters pertaining to the city's Recreation and Parks Department, acted in advisory capacity in preparation of the annual budget for recreation and long-range recreation and park and capital improvement program, recommended to the City Council fees or charges to be paid by residents and non-residents for use of city recreational facilities or for participation in city recreational programs, gathered community opinions and perceptions regarding recreational opportunities and needs, made recommendations concerning beautification, development, and improvement of parks and recreation facilities, recommended policies regarding recreation and park services and programs for approval by City Council, and participated in the development and implementation of public events on behalf of the city and sponsored by the Recreation Department and/or the Parks and Recreation Commission. So after many years of service to the Brisbane community and advocacy in the field of parks and recreation, we thank you very much for your time and dedication. And with that, I'll turn it over to the commission if there's anything you would like to add.
We're going to go from right to left. Byron.
Renee, I always appreciated your level-headedness in meetings, as Noreen was mentioning, with especially when it comes to policy, very no nonsense, and able to stay calm without, some of the emotions that can run through some of these events for members of the community. And I'll miss hearing all about Bono each time I come to the meetings.
So, Christine, I don't think you know. Let's go to Zoom. Let's go to Julie.
All right, thanks, Tom. Renee, we will really miss you. You were and are a welcome voice on this commission, and I just feel like I just want to highlight what Noreen said. You would say the difficult things that needed to be said that often helped us dig deeper into a matter or come to greater understanding. You're also, I just admire your scientific mind and the analysis you brought to our commission and our group. And we will really miss working with you. And what I'm excited about is that you will be working on the foundation that we are getting started. And so Renee will continue to have a hand in our parks. And the other thing I'll just say is I love how hands-on you are. That is just, the thing you did to spiff up the quarry is huge and makes me happy every time I'm there working with Trudy. And I love that hands-on aspect of you. You get things done, and there's something to be said for that. So thank you. It's a pleasure to know you.
Wow. Let's stay on Zoom. Go ahead, Lisa.
Hi, Renee. Hey, I just want to say that what I appreciate about Renee is she moves into town and she just jumps in with both feet. She doesn't mess around. She's like, what can I do to help? How can I get involved? And I know that sometimes she feels like she's, an awkward fit and she worries about what she's going to say, but she's always spot on. And I just love your input. And I hope that just because you've worked on this committee and you know what goes into, being on this committee, that you continue to bring input and just come to our meetings. And I know you're going to work on the foundation, but I just love having your input because you're so wise. You're wise, but you're a good-hearted person, and that's what matters. And I love having you as a neighbor on top of it all. So yay, Renee, and I can't wait to see what happens next for you. It's going to be great.
Thank you. When a creative mind and a scientific mind get together, it's usually, oil and vinegar. But the first person to kind of accept me when I was just starting out, like Christine was, I think we hit it off right away. And that continues to today. What everyone else said is spot on, but I'd like to just acknowledge you are a leader by example, especially with your dedication to supporting, the work you did with Trudy and volunteerism. And I'd like to try to include every meeting to honor somebody that volunteers for our town. And I'd like to try to kick that off tonight and say that you are my volunteer for tonight's meeting. And that's just a way to get our ratings up too. So, and but you inspired that idea. I don't know if we can implement that, but I think we should.
Mm-hmm.
Next.
So Renee, I'm so glad that we've crossed paths. I mean, the best part of being part of the Park and Rec is that we all become family, right? And then we realize we also live in the same neighborhood. So we're very blessed to have that, right? So you're not far, you're right down the street from all of us. And you're also my coworker, so scientifically. So I believe we'll have to make more time for lunches and then also for actually one of those bike rides that you guys have. But you've been so enjoyable, so easy, so even keel. It's all the questions you ask, like thinking outside the box and just bringing that here to the Park and Rec and making things fun. And it's just a pleasure to cross paths with you. And we'll miss you.
Is there anyone else sitting in here that wants to talk?
Did you want to say anything, Renee? You can come up to the podium if you wanted to say anything.
Be nice.
Speech.
There's a seat up here too if you want.
Is this thing on? Yeah.
Oh yeah, the video.
So thanks, everyone. You're all, I agree, the family thing and neighborhood thing and all that good stuff. I had not planned any words, and so I'll keep it short. I will say I appreciate, I think the recognition that I am sometimes a round peg in a square hole. I don't know, something like I don't quite fit, but I'm used to that. That's my MO. That's all the questions, because nothing really makes sense. And thanks for taking the time to kind of pull me along. And I will say, one of the things I really, I'm a very practical-minded person, and one thing I learned from this crew is that practical's great, but so is compassion. And I do think Parks and Rec is a group of people that are really grounded in compassion for people. I think you understand that Parks and Rec is sort of a budgetary nice to have that not everybody has. And we try to do our best to help people be able to park and recreate. And I hadn't really seen or understood that about city involvement. And I'm very, very proud that Brisbane's that way. And I think that in whatever next endeavor I volunteer for, I'll have that as part of my DNA because I was around all of you. So thanks very much. Appreciate it. Good 4 years. You're going to have a great time.
It's hard to follow all that.
Yeah, and
Just go home.
before we move on to the next item on the agenda with Renee leaving the commission, I did want to take a moment to acknowledge our newest commissioner, Christine Gornitsky. Welcome.
Hi.
Speech.
No.
I'm so excited to be joining this commission.
There you go.
Apparently, there are big shoes to follow. I'm going to do my best. I'm looking forward to helping my community.
Excellent. Well, welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Happy to have you.
For sure. All right. Enough fun. Old business.
Yes.
And we're going to move to Festival of Lights debrief. Is that how that works?
Yes.
All
So
right.
I'm going to turn it over to Nicole and Angela.
Bring it.
All right, so this year, Angela really took the lead for our team in championing the Festival of Lights event, but it did involve a lot of hands, kind of all hands on deck with the team as well. So I'll let Angela share a bit of the feedback from the event this year.
Great. Hello. So starting off, the Festival of Lights event was very well received by the community this year. We introduced several new elements to enhance the experience, which included a stage, an additional cocoa station, a Parks and Rec merch booth, a food truck, a community sing-along, and a wish tree. And these additions were highlighted through 3 promotional videos, which were released in the weeks leading up to the event to keep the community informed and also build excitement for those who were going to be attending. And the event was also live streamed for those who were not able to join us in person, but still wanted to enjoy the magic from home. And the live stream was later uploaded to YouTube as well, so it's still on there for people to enjoy. And on the numbers side, the Parks and Rec booth did sell a total of $710 in merchandise. And we are also pleased to share that we did not run out of cookies this year. Approximately 1,000 were purchased for the event, so there were plenty for everyone who was there. And we'd also like to take a moment to, like Nicole said, thank everyone who was involved in the planning and execution of the event. So we want to thank our Festival of Lights subcommittee, also our IDEA committee member, Masha Khan, and all city departments who collaborated to make the event possible. And also additional thanks to Julie's Deli, Shanky Bakery, Bright Rentals, and Mobile for contributing to the festivities, and Silver Spot Nursery School for hosting the wine and beer for the event. And we were thrilled to kick off the night with performances by Brisbane's own Leanne Borghese and the Littman Middle School Orchestra, and also the Brisbane Dance Workshop, which has been a returning favorite. And also along with remarks from Mayor Cliff Lentz and support from the Youth Advisory Committee, and also our Volunteer of the Year, Herman Reese, who helped the mayor light the tree. And also want to give a special thanks to Sharon Boggs for coordinating the sound for the event, and Jojo Martin and Aaron Becker for lending their lighting expertise and helping to make this year's event shine even brighter. And also want to thank the Brisbane Library for being a part of the celebration and engaging with attendees throughout the evening. And want to extend our appreciation to artists Grant Patterson, Danny Ames, and Sean Cusack for their contributions to the art installations that were around the park. And looking ahead, we are excited for the opportunity to highlight and celebrate a variety of holidays during the season, ensuring inclusivity and representation of all traditions. And next year does mark the 40th Annual Festival of Lights, so we hope to make it the best one yet, using the thoughtful feedback that we've received from the subcommittee and those who participated in the event. And that's pretty much all that I have for the recap. Hopefully a lot of you were able to attend the event and enjoy it and see it in person. And also wanted to open it up and ask if anyone on the commission wants to share further feedback or if you have any recommendations or suggestions.
I want to just say thank you to Jovi. That's not an easy mic to stand next to. You did great. Does anyone on Zoom want to start?
This is Lisa. I would just like to say that I thought we're taking it up a notch. I just got to say that having lived here for, almost 30 years, that Festival of Lights and the ones before, I mean, with the expertise of the people who have come forward to do this whole lighting thing and the different stations and the food and the music, and all of it has just gotten so much more professional and fun and inclusive, and I'm just really impressed with the work that goes into this event. Again, I'm sure it all has to do with good planning through our staff and through the committee that put it together, but every year the bar gets higher. I'm really proud of you guys. So well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Lisa that this was definitely the biggest I've ever seen the event. And it's really great to see. And I think the event was run wonderfully. One thing that I did want to note is that at the end, after the event, with some of the weather we had, the tree ended up getting knocked over and ended up being like that for a little bit. So if it hasn't been noted somewhere right now, just whatever we did this year, nail in like an extra inch in next year. Just make, we're gonna forget by the next year. So basically what I'm saying. Just cool. Write it down somewhere. I think it'll be great. Big guess.
Were you there? You didn't?
I wasn't.
All right.
Yeah, I wasn't there, but I could leave like with the tree history wise, right, Jeff? This tree has always been. There's always something going on with that tree every year.
Tradition.
Yes, tradition. So it's part of the tradition.
I just have to say, paper. I think some people miss the gathering down the street, the sing-song, walking from the coffee shop down. That was the only thing I heard, but I get it. I get why. But it was an A-paper, and it was fun to walk around with a camera and document it and watch how many people were having fun. So, any other comments? Oh, yeah, Julie, are you good? You're on mute.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I just want to echo all of the positive feedback. I mean, I wasn't there this year and was quietly devastated to have missed it, but it is just amazing. And when we bring our community together like this, magic happens. It's what we're about. So it's just wonderful to see. I did hear a couple of people talk about that they missed the caroling down the street. So that was like the only kind of feedback I had that wasn't just glowingly positive, which most of it was. So well done to everybody. And I wanted to just share that bit of feedback.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. Seriously. There should be a room full of people standing and applauding you right now. So do we move to new business? Is that correct?
Yes.
And we're going to jump into Sierra Point Park Planning, which is attached to our agenda.
Well, I'm sorry, Tom.
Okay.
I'm going to pause real quick. I'm seeing Michelle Salmon with her hand raised.
Oh, okay.
So I will allow her to talk right now.
I thought the festival I did attend, stayed for the whole thing. I thought there were so many wonderful things. Really glad I got a cookie and a cup of chocolate at the end. But there was one thing that I did want to say, that I thought the speeches were a little bit long. The talking was a little bit long. People in the crowd were restless, and the poor kids that were waiting to perform were freezing to death. And I just think that part of it kind of was not so copacetic. Everything else was amazing. But I think we should kind of keep the speeches to a minimum. It went on for a really long time, and the kids were freezing, and then it went on even longer after they played. So that part was just really hard. I had to get up and walk away because it was just the crowd got very restless during that period. So that's a view from the audience. But other than that, there were so many absolutely wonderful things. 2 cookie stations, beautiful. Little campfire thing, beautiful. The lighting, spectacular, magical, and everything else. So overall, it was really well done. But I did feel I had to get that feedback. And also I heard the feedback about not having the singing coming down the street was hard for some people. It sort of lacked. So we didn't end up, that part was missed. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Michelle. More singing.
Not necessarily more singing, just like less speaking.
Maybe we have everybody sing their speeches.
Rap. Got it. Noted. New business. Sierra Point Park Planning.
All right. Jovi's going to share the presentation so that those of you online and at the dais can review as we're speaking to the slides. For some of you, this will be a reintroduction of the project, and for others, it will be fairly new. So we will have time after the presentation to take questions. And we have a representative from the Council Subcommittee here this evening as well, Frank. So he can respond to questions that are directed towards him as well. So the intention tonight is to provide some background context into the project. We're not asking the commission to make any formal recommendations at this time, but just to get you up to speed and share kind of key milestones in the project to date. So in 2021, the city issued a solicitation for letters of interest from qualified landscape architects and park planning firms to develop an open space and parks master plan at Sierra Point. The vision for the project included passive and active recreational opportunities intended to engage the public and promote integration with the surrounding areas, including the marina, the San Francisco Bay Trail, and adjacent businesses. After a thorough RFP process, the city selected CMG Landscape Architecture as the project consultant. The purpose of this project was to develop a long-term master plan for parks and open space at Sierra Point that addressed community priorities and considered the unique challenges and opportunities of the site. A master planning subcommittee was formed consisting of representatives from the Brisbane City Council, Parks and Recreation Commission, Open Space and Ecology Committee, Complete Streets Safety Committee, IDEA Committee, and Public Art Advisory Committee, with a kickoff that occurred in the fall of 2022. The first task, which was the discovery phase, was to conduct a comprehensive site analysis. CMG worked to identify site constraints, including shoreline regulations from the Bay Conservation and Development Commission, which is also known as BCDC, parking needs, existing infrastructure, marina operations, climate and wind patterns, vegetation and wetland conditions. They also studied regional context, transportation, jurisdictional boundaries, and sea level rise. And early public outreach at this stage included a pop-up at the Day in the Park and an online community survey. At this stage, the project team sought to understand how people currently engage with Sierra Point and their priorities for its future. The next slide includes a summary of a question that was asked during that first survey about what people would like to see at Sierra Point and the amenities that they would like to envision. So there's a snapshot provided here. Based on stakeholder engagement and community input, guiding principles and goals for the Sierra Point Master Plan were established to function as a framework for plan development to ensure alignment with stakeholder criteria. The following guiding principles suggest that Sierra Point should be inclusive and authentic to Brisbane, have a distinct identity, provide everyday open space, offer a variety of amenities in a natural setting, be a healthy and safe place for connection, and provide a resilient waterfront. The second phase, which was the exploration phase, included coordination with stakeholders and initial development of alternative approaches for the master plan. Public engagement in this phase included an open house workshop, an online survey, a stakeholder meeting at the Sierra Point Yacht Club, and tabling at the Community Park Farmers Market. CMG developed 3 conceptual design schemes for the public to consider with the hopes of isolating preferred attributes and desired character of the site for creation of a master plan. The original goals to integrate recreation, sustainability, art, and community use were highlighted within the draft conceptual plans for community consideration using graphic representations. In late 2023, the City Council elected to place the park planning effort on pause so that they could further study the imminent effects of sea level rise to the marina and adjacent properties. The sea level rise study was completed in late 2024. The City of Brisbane has also initiated work on the Brisbane Lagoon Watershed Sea Level Rise Adaptation Plan that will identify strategies to protect Brisbane residents and infrastructure from flooding due to changes in precipitation and tides caused by climate change. This project is expected to be ongoing through 2026. You may be aware of the recent storm and king tide flooding along the Bay Trail and the lower parking lots at the marina, taking out power to most of the docks. It's a harsh reminder that sea level rise isn't coming, and it's in fact here now. In terms of next steps, you should see that on the slide now. The city has a park development fund which was established as a direct result of various commercial development agreements at Sierra Point. The current approximate fund balance is $1.9 million. Part of this fund is restricted by the Mitigation Fee Act, which has a 5-year use limit. Therefore, if these funds are not utilized within the 5-year timeframe, the city will be responsible for justifying an extension and identifying how the funds will be allocated within a reasonable time period, or they must return the funds to the developers. In summary, the city is required to adopt a plan for use of the funds and submit a letter of intent by June 30th, 2026. Next steps include focusing on parcel R, which is approximately 1.5 acres, considering the funding limitations, considering that the final park design should demonstrate high utility and appeal for primary user groups, including residents, marina boaters, and local employees, and ultimately make recommendations to City Council regarding the future of the site. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, or if Frank wants to add anything that I failed to include, you're welcome to do so, but otherwise I will open it up to the commission for questions.
Anything, Frank? Could we use you to answer questions?
Yeah.
So Trudy and I were on a special committee last week on this. We're learning a lot, and I've been out there to Parcel R. It's a lot. This is going to be the biggest project that this Park and Rec group has had to tackle. And we have to get it done, or at least a letter of intent, by June. I've talked to a few folks that know a lot about this, and Frank and I have talked. And I think we need to, my suggestion would be for all these smart minds to get together on a separate meeting and really drill down on it. And if we could have somebody that knows a lot about it at that meeting, that would be my recommendations, because it is a lot when you consider sea level rise, and you need to consider the boaters, and we need to consider, if you look at that point, it's really the spear of the tip. That's really the tip of this incredible opportunity that can kind of spread across the whole front of the water, of the harbor, and all that harbor work needs help. And so we have to think about, we have to think 50 years in advance. So I just think we need to take some time and slow down. I don't really have any questions because I asked them all in the subcommittee meeting we had with Trudy. But why don't we open it up to Julie Sims with any questions for the team here? And who was that to just walk by with skis? No fair. All right.
So thank you very much. I think this is really exciting. I appreciate all of the information that was provided in the packet, and bringing all of Parks and Rec into this seems great, because I agree with Tom. It's a huge undertaking and something that will have a lasting impact. I am curious, because it seems like there's been a hurry up and wait kind of situation happening. And I know we were waiting for the climate kind of study that we received at the end of 2024. But then it seems like what happened in 2025, I'm just a little concerned about timing, that we are getting this now, and that we need to have a recommendation, if I looked at the timeline, by next month. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can I ask, what does that look like? Is it just a letter of intent, or how masterful does this document need to be?
Yeah, so the desired output in terms of the recommendation that we're looking for from the commission to the council subcommittee is kind of synthesizing the information that we've gathered to date from residents, and then also understanding the footprint that we have to work within and the financial constraints, and using the information provided to kind of analyze or make recommendations about what you would like to see on the site, specifically Parcel R. We're focusing on that because some funding is tied strictly to Parcel R, but also because we're acknowledging that there's an impact to the marina and the Sierra Point entirety of publicly owned land as far as sea level rise is concerned. And there's a 100-foot band from the shoreline up to the site that is the jurisdiction of BCDC. And so that process, their approval process for any changes to the 100-foot band is an entirely different thing. So we're really isolating this project to Parcel R and looking for a recommendation from the commission to the council that would be in the way of, yes, we want to have picnic areas that could be rented by the public, or yes, we want to have a piece of public art or a welcome sign or a dog park or a playground or what have you, operating within those kind of constraints of footprint and budget. Hopefully that answers your question.
Julie, go ahead.
Yeah, one of the things I was thinking about is it's hard to assess what we can do with $2 million. I didn't see in the packet kind of dollar items. And maybe there are presentations like city council presentations or subcommittee presentations we can go and review, but it's hard to say what we should do, you know, based on, I know $2 million sounds like a lot, but it may not go super far. So kind of knowing our budgetary parameters, what that looks like could be helpful. The other just bigger picture question I had is, because I did kind of look at the climate and the sea rise report, and it seems like my read on it, if I'm correct, was $45 million is what it's going to take to kind of eventually do what we need to do to preserve what we have. And my question is, this 1.9 million, could it be used for preservation, or does it need to be used to build a new park or to, you know, create something new?
The funds were originally dedicated for park development, park and open space development. The sea level rise study focuses more on marina infrastructure, to my understanding. And so I don't believe that the funds could be utilized as they were received for the $45 million worth of work that needs to be done at the marina in its current state.
The one thing I learned was this parcel R is on the 18-foot level, which is the 100-year, the 100-year level we need to work on. So it is already elevated. The other thing that I see very clearly is if you zoom out for the whole Bay Area, the Bay Trail is now running along the area that's going to be eroded by sea level rise. So we need to implement the Bay Trail through that parcel R, something to think about as you guys go and study very clearly. And we may be able to tie in with that fund and that effort as well. You should really visit the site. It's an interesting area that I think could spread that repair, because it's already high. It's already high up enough.
It's such a great point, Tom. And I guess given this time constraint, I feel like maybe we should set a subcommittee or include everyone who on Parks and Rec who wants to be on it. But I think we need to meet at least weekly for the next month I would like us to do a site visit together, and then I'd like us to, go over what the possibilities are before making our recommendation and just get more grounded and clear. The background information is super helpful. I did review the survey information. There's lots there. And I'm sure you and Trudy know way more than the rest of us do at this point, but I feel like this is pretty important stuff. I'm sure you all do.
Frank, go ahead.
Hey guys, I'm sensing your excitement, and I'm excited about this project as well. This is a massive opportunity for Parks and Rec, and probably something that's, I'll use the word meaty, that's been a long time coming. Is this on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So to kind of help you move through this, and I think Julie's onto something here. I think this is going to require a couple meetings from you. You're going to be provided, if you've not already been provided, with the community survey results. This is a data set that you should get intimately familiar with, and you should study together separately and become familiar with. This is what the community's already reported, what they want to see out there. The second piece that Noreen will provide, or has provided at this point, is a report from our consultant, CMG, who did the initial renderings for out there, and they've already gone through and pointed out what items / amenities can fit on that parcel. So that is helping you tremendously narrow down what can be done there. Now you can get creative and say, hey, we have some wind, we'd like a little windmill. You can get creative. You can say we want to see public art, and you can appeal to that subcommittee as well. So I'm just saying, so that's step two. You've got all the information, you've got the data set. We've got a consultant that's already told you what is doable out there right now. We have the Director of Public Works here tonight. He can help out and guide you on any infrastructure that might be able to be, due to sea level rise, anything that we might be able to take into account and include on parcel R, because as Tom pointed out, it's already 18 feet above sea level. We've got several generations that are going to be able to enjoy this park going forward. Last but not least, and this is something I did not get involved with when I was on Park and Recreation, I'm encouraging you guys to do so. The Brisbane General Plan, Chapter 7, which is open space, and Chapter 8, which is Park and Recreation and Community Services. That's available on the website, and you guys can just download that and take a look at those chapters. That's sort of the master plan for those topics. And so just have a look at that, and I think that'll give you enough information to come to some sort of conclusion on what you want to recommend. I think on the go forward, rely on Noreen, Nicole, all of staff to help you if you've got any questions. Julie, your question was great in terms of dollars. Yes, we've got the money earmarked. The money has been provided for the park. I can't tell you what a dog park costs versus what a pad for food trucks costs. But again, staff can help you out as you're going through that and bringing that forward. We're asking for one final piece. I didn't see it in tonight's presentation. That's not a missing. Noreen knows. We want to make sure that we're leaving some money left over to make sure we can maintain this park for 5 years going forward. So we're not immediately in the hole. Oh, it's there? Okay, perfect. Okay, so I just wanted to call that out. If you have any other questions, I'm more than happy to answer as best as I can at this point.
These little earmarks that are yellow and all these China Basin and which, you know, are amazing adaptations to the coastline. Are these all within budget? Or are these, no? Okay.
No, they're just to serve as a frame of reference for footprint comparisons.
Are any within budget?
No.
Probably not.
No.
None of them?
No.
Got it.
No.
But it is important to point out that CMG, the same consultant that's providing the recommendations, did China Basin / Mission Rock. So they're familiar with sea level rise, and they
Very cool.
They did that design. So
Great choice.
Right.
okay.
Anyone else have questions? Christine?
I know it's like a lot to digest because there's so much content and so much photos. The CMG, to Frank's point, that presentation has a lot of like info, especially like on like the project timelines and things like that. That would be very, very helpful. And then also like it shows like graphics and the sea level and photos, like to your point. So it's very helpful. And I think a subcommittee actually, is there one established with Park and Rec? No?
Not specifically for this project.
Yeah.
Well, do we want to make a decision on that or?
Well, I think if there's any other questions from the commission, we can take them and then we can take public comments.
Yeah, I just want to.
Oh,
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Brian.
I just wanted to say that I agree that we should meet on this regularly, but I also want to say that I remember seeing this project happening through City Council like a year ago. And I think there's probably already a lot of great information, not only in these reports, but in those meetings to draw from. So while we should meet and create a good finished final product, I don't think we need to necessarily reinvent the wheel. I think there's, especially with staff, already has a lot of great ideas and there's a lot of great stuff out there. And to what Noreen was saying, I think that a park and a picnic area and another rentable party space is probably one of the most reasonable within budget and useful things that we could put on the space. The one thing I might also want to add is a consideration for public transit down there, because I know it can be a little bit out of the way for people to come over from Brisbane, but that might be completely out of scope for this money. But that's something I wanted to bring up.
Can I chime in?
Yeah, you, Lisa, and then Michelle after.
Okay, great. Okay, well, I walk out on the marina just about every day, early in the morning and walk around and go by this, and sometimes I get up on that area. I just wonder how much of this money is just going to be used to shore up the coast side from washing into the bay with sea level rise. I mean, does the budget include, or is it separate from just shoring up that drop off? Because there is a pretty big drop off, like a slope that's not structurally supported in any way. It's just dirt. You know, has that been addressed? Is that part of the budget? Anyone know?
I think we need to, that's why we need to get together and find out all this stuff and figure out what we can do, Lisa. I think it's,
Yeah.
we can get into the weeds pretty heavily.
Yeah. Okay. So that just the hardscape, just the, you know, the bare land, how is it going to stay there? You know, and how much is that going to cost? I think that's kind of where you start, because you can't build something, even if it's 18 feet and pretty safe, it still needs to be shored up. Well, there's that. And also I'm kind of excited because I've been walking over in Oyster Point. Frank suggested that I check out the new, you know, park that they put in over at Oyster Point. And I realized that it was probably all done with lots of corporate money. But, you know, there's an exercise pad over there, just a small area that's just gorgeous. And, you know, people run and walk and every day are on that trail. The trail could go by, and I think a really nice exercise pad up there would be fun. Just saying. And I'd love to help on this committee. If it's going to meet, I'd love to be in on it.
Through the chair, may I make a comment? Hi.
Do I have the power to say no?
You can. Yeah.
No, you go.
Thank you, sir. Hi, everyone. Maz Bozargini, I'm Public Works Director, City Engineer for Brisbane. I'm really happy to be here tonight and meet a lot of you folks. So I just wanted to make a couple of comments and just put a little bit more in context. So what we're trying to do as part of this effort is really to ensure encumbering our funds and that the vision of this area is captured. So even though we have a tight timeline, it's really about the concept and the phasing and the planning. So when we are looking at this parcel R specifically, and then later when we look at Sierra Point in a larger scale, it's really about making sure that we are planning appropriately for what we want to see out there as far as amenities and features. So if we're talking about gateway signage or transit access or addressing some of the bare soil that's out there, those are all things that we should talk about and incorporate. I would like to add that, yes, the area that below the DG pathway, because of some of the topography and some of the saltwater intrusion there, there is some bare soil. So part of our efforts would be to remediate some of that. We would definitely, look at doing things of that nature. There may be some utility improvements that would be supportive of any functions that we look at doing as part of that larger effort. But again, the idea is to understand what our master plan is on parcel R, and that would be the goal for the June 30th kind of timing that we were talking about. So don't even we may not have enough money to do everything we want to do, but we want to hear what we should be striving towards. And as long as we are moving forward in that context, I feel like we will we will achieve what we're trying to achieve as far as the funding, securing the funding in the short term, but also setting ourselves up for a project that will likely be phased depending on what elements we're ultimately going to look into. And as we kind of go back and forth, that's part of what staff, Noreen and I and others, as well as CMG, will be doing, is trying to come up with those cost estimates as far as what it would look like to implement those different features. So I know it seems like a really large undertaking, and it is to a certain extent, but nothing's going to be locked in. It's really more about trying to get us towards a place where we are able to implement some of these measures and kind of final up our master planning effort, if you will, on parcel R specifically, and then ultimately the larger Sierra Point open space area.
Julie.
Thanks, Maz. That's super helpful context. And the other thing I will say is, just building on Lisa's comments, I too am very inspired by the Oyster Point, the new development that's happened there. It's where art meets utility. And it also seems like it's movable in the event of sea rise. So you could move the amenities. I am curious. I wonder, as background or for our next meeting, if we could get a sense of what that what the budget was for that project, because I also like the exercise facility. I don't know if that's available.
Okay, Michelle, we did not forget about you. I will unmute you right now.
Hi. I did attend the subcommittee meeting as a representative from OSEC, but also I am very familiar with the marina from the day it was opened until now. And there's been substantial changes in the landscape there from 1982 until now. And it's been over 40 years. And one of the things that has been extreme is the amount of subsidence that we've had. Those areas that you see underwater, and I took extensive photographs on Sunday during the flood, those areas used to be hills, not troughs. And if you look at the marina walking along what is the, pathway in front of the marina, that used to be level and all the bathrooms were like higher, that now they're higher. They used to be like at ground level, and the docks used to not go up. They used to go always down, never up. And we talk about, we have a tough road to hoe here. And we are going into the unknown. And Saturday and Sunday was pretty unprecedented. And it was kind of like the perfect storm with extreme high tides, king tides, a lot of water coming down off the mountain and the storm surge. But a lot of the data on high tides was based on data of median tides from 1990, not 2026. So the tide was much higher than was expected. And the lower parking lots were quite full. I have quite a number of pictures. But one of the things I really want to make sure that we understand is the loss of acreage we've already had, the amount of subsidence we've already had. Some of the people are talking about, let's make it into a picnic area that's rentable. In order to do that, you really kind of need to provide restrooms. And the restrooms are, down on the marina pad. And they were all inaccessible on Sunday because of the flooding. So we need to be real about that and the different power things. Whatever we decide to do, we need to know that we may have to abandon it all in 10 years because we may need that higher ground for other things. One of the shocking parts about Sunday was that water came up onto Sierra Point Parkway along the lagoon. And so we do have a tough road to hoe. And as far as this big timeline, yeah, we should get on it. We should have been on it for a long time, but we haven't been. But as far as losing the money, we can apply for an extension because of extenuating circumstances with the sea level rise issues and the flooding issues that we've experienced. So it's not like we're going to use it or lose it. We can use it, or we can ask for an extension and still use it. I think we should proceed with planning as quick as possible. And just so you know, the beautiful amphitheater at Oyster Point, the little circle that, it looks so beautiful. There were pictures of it from Saturday. It looked like a hot tub. It was filled with water. And so were their exercise areas. So no one is immune. So we just need to really pay close attention to what we're doing. I think we should apply to BCDC to be allowed to bring in more landfill dirt to raise up the level of the area because it is sinking, it is subsiding, and the landfill is past its 40-year guarantee on the cap, and it's a reality. And giving it back to the bay is not really what needs to happen. And we also need to think about access to the marina, because access to the marina will also be underwater. And some of it was underwater on Sunday. So it's not an easy thing you're faced with, but we can't just look at all the happy things, but we really need to take in the reality of the situation and do the best that we can. And parcel R is going to get smaller as the water rises. So I hate to be gloom and doom, but I've looked at this area for over 40 years and I've seen the changes, and they're not happy changes. So I think we need to think outside the box, ask permission for doing things that haven't been permissible in the past, like bringing in more dirt to raise the level of everything along there. And I think we need to be brave and bold and really look to a long future, not just gratification in the next 5 years. Thank you so much for the work you do.
Thank you, Michelle.
That does raise a relevant question for me, which is what are the odds of an extension getting approved? Because at least in terms of planning, I was definitely in the headspace of a use it or lose it, but that I would just don't know what the odds of that being approved would be.
Great question.
I don't know what the odds are. The city can apply for the extension, but it's not a guarantee, so it could be denied, is my understanding.
Yeah, I mean, this is the developer fee that was paid, right? So it's not a grant application that we have in hand. It's a development impact fee that was, that had some certain requirements around it. And there's no guarantee, yeah, as Noreen mentioned, there's no guarantee that it would be accepted. Not that we can't ask.
Who are we asking?
Health Peak.
Okay. Okay.
And are we responsible for writing the extension, or is that city council?
The city staff would be writing that. It would go through, it would be a staff-led effort based on the decisions and approvals within our committees and council, obviously.
I mean,
There you go.
sorry, but my sense is, or tell me if this is wrong, if we had a vision, but it just wasn't fully baked, but we said we need a little more time, but here's where we're headed, would that help them support an extension, perhaps?
I think so. I mean, really what we're looking for, it's not to spend the money by June, right? The idea is that we have a vision that we say, this is what we're working towards. And that, I believe, would satisfy the requirements of this funding source. So we're not looking, we don't have to, so yeah, I guess that's a great point. We're not looking to spend all this money by June. That would be much different. We're looking at making sure that we have a plan in place, even if it's got some pieces that still need to be revisited.
Okay, thank you.
And the name that was mentioned there, is that the developer? I didn't recognize it. Okay. I could be wrong. It's my first time around the block here, but I have the feeling that if the options for the developer are give us an extension or get their $1.9 million back, we are not going to be seeing that money.
I will say that it's that 1.9 million. It's a lot smaller sum of money with respect to that. The other caveat is that the developer also has other projects that they are working on actively in Brisbane, so they're going to have to deal with this still.
They want to behave accordingly.
They want to be good. They want to be good partners.
Of course.
We believe that.
I would love to know what would make them happy and what would make them not so happy as far as vision. That would be interesting for the next meeting.
Should we invite a representative from them to the meetings that we're planning to attend?
I would say this. I wonder if our next step would be to just, I think we need a little bit of a series of meetings for this next month. I know it's short notice and January is busy, but for those of us who can attend, maybe we can just set one late afternoon a week or evening a week to talk about this. I know we probably need to make those official meetings to avoid Brown Act violations. But I do think it's worth more discussion. And if we could have a couple more meetings, that would be helpful in my mind.
Yeah, and Noreen, it looks like part of our subcommittees is to assign Sierra Point ad hoc meetings, right? The ad hoc committee, subcommittees?
Well, if you're looking at the subcommittee roster, that was a carryover from Trudy used to be the representative on this committee originally.
Okay.
So if it is the desire of the commission to establish a new subcommittee to tackle this over the next couple of months more intently than the full commission, then you could make a recommendation to do that tonight. But before we move on, I also want to acknowledge that there might be additional public comments. So
Absolutely.
Good evening, Chair Sewell and Commissioners. My name is Michael Barnes. I'm a Brisbane resident. First, I want to orient you on this, the picture, the aerial photograph of Parcel R. It has a vertical line going down the middle of the page, basically, and that's what the city engineer was talking about below the DG path. And so Parcel R originally extended all the way down to the Bay Trail. And so what the city has done, wisely, I believe, is to basically abandon the low-lying grass areas that are subject to inundation and flooding and have you concentrate on only the 1.5 acres that's upland. So the original Parcel R area was 3.4 acres, and you're being asked to look at 1.5 or so. So that's the first thing. Second is, for, I don't know, just imagining what it is, the community park is 2.88 acres, I just learned tonight from staff.
Huh.
So it's slightly larger than what you're looking at. I got pulled into this by the boaters, and I got yelled at Sierra Point Yacht Club for about 3 hours one day, about, I don't know, a year ago or so. And it was all good. And so they were concerned about losing their parking. They are happy with a Parcel R park. The people that I talk to anyway, they'll use it. It'll be a great amenity for them. I heard a comment about maybe slowing down. I don't know if I would advise slowing down. I know it's a very aggressive timeline. I like the idea of an ad hoc subcommittee. That way you actually don't need to publicly notice ad hoc subcommittee meetings, and you can do it at your own schedule. I have not seen the CMG right size recommendations. Okay, so it sounds like you haven't either.
Yes, I agree. I know that we had a reference to a consulting report. Because I'm new, I assumed it was something that I was missing. I was directed to the similarly sized comparison parks, but it didn't sound to be as inclusive and encompassing of the details needed as the consulting report. So I agree with you. I don't think I'm aware of
Great.
that.
So
I think the report is, sorry, it's part of the letter. There's a link.
So there was a link to the
CMG's
discovery phase
presentation?
that had 6 sections in the report. Is that what you're referencing?
It was part of their agenda packet. Is that correct?
Sure.
Maureen?
There were so many links.
When they're too big
discovery.
to email, there's
No,
links.
that's fine. But there were so many links, so I just want to make
Yeah.
sure that I am referencing the correct one. So there was the discovery phase report that we were provided a link with, which I definitely saw and even went through. And then there was a reference to a presentation that had been made at a city council meeting, which I hadn't had a chance to run through yet. So when we say that the consulting report, what is the document that's being referenced? I'm sorry, I should have asked this question earlier.
Do you mean the short list that Willett emailed that has like picnic areas and lawn areas? We haven't provided that, but we can provide that for context.
Okay, great. So I look forward to seeing that. Let's see. Somebody asked a question about why is this coming up so late? Well, the city council actually had this on their agenda about a year ago. I think it was February of 2025. And basically the city council as a whole kind of punted it to the subcommittee that Councilman Kern is on. And so that's why it's coming to you now through that subcommittee. The exercise pad, I heard comments about exercise pad over at Oyster Point, and that exercise pad is a great idea, the execution. I don't know if any of you have tried to use the parallel bars for dips. I'm almost 6 feet tall now. I've been shrinking, but I can still jump up and do the parallel bars and do dips on those. I think that probably half the people in this room cannot do that. It's beautiful because it's Italian, but there are more functional exercise pads, and I highly encourage you to consider that. But there is an exercise station out at Sierra Point at the southeast corner that is dilapidated, and I think I've spoken on this in the past, and that was built with Marina Enterprise funds, and I wouldn't necessarily think that exercise station would be something that would be part of this park project, but that's just me. Okay, I don't know how much basic maintenance costs are going to be, but I'll take this up later in another meeting. I'd like to see data on that. The sea level rise, again, part of Parcel R is basically already affected by that, and that's not the piece that you're being asked to program. I would also like to point out the community survey results. Bicycling is actually a big part of that, and actually bicycling was identified by CMG, the consultant, as a preferred existing use at Sierra Point. So consider that when you program it. Bicycling skills features are in the neighborhood of about $15,000 a piece. You could put a couple out there without too much trouble. Let's see. And the last item I have is there is an Appendix 7 of CMG that gives a rough order of magnitude for pricing. And it, for instance, talks about site preparation. It has how many square feet are there, and then the unit price. In some cases it's square feet, sometimes it's linear feet, sometimes it's each. I would look at Appendix 7 of CMG's final report. I didn't see it in your package. I don't know if it's readily available online, but it is something they produced, and it's how they came to their, $40 to $50 million estimates for the entire eastern seashore to be developed. So that might be a good starting point for the ad hoc subcommittee to look at. They have itemized things, like one of their proposals was a play mountain, and they have special earthwork itemized. They have trees itemized. I personally am not a fan of trees out at Sierra Point, but again, that's personal opinion. Paving, vertical curbs they have, rock slabs, site furnishings, and so they're all costed out. So there is a document about Sierra Point that actually has some of that information I think would be really useful to you guys. And I'm very excited that you're actually getting this. And I know it seems overwhelming, but I don't think 1.5 acres is that much. I don't think there's that many things you can fit out there. And I hope you guys can get this done in a month. And I'll be attending your next meeting because I think it's a good thing. And even if it's not perfect, it's something. Let's improve Sierra Point.
We'll get you on that ad hoc meeting and committee.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay, before we proceed, any other additional comments? Public comment, I should say. Okay. We're good, Tom.
Any additional discussion from the commission, or would you like me to attempt to summarize what I've heard this evening?
Well, I think, do we want to start an ad hoc subcommittee or subcommittee, or do we want to tackle this ourselves? I just want to acknowledge some of the spirit that I heard in the meeting was that City Council wants to start giving us more responsibilities and projects like this. So this is our kind of, not a test, but that's kind of what I'm hearing from that committee, correct? And so I think this is a perfect opportunity to get excited. I think we could do it on our own, but I don't, people's time is precious. So how do we want to proceed with that? A subcommittee or ad hoc committee, or?
So if you want to formulate an ad hoc subcommittee, then it should be no more than 3 commission members. So you can decide amongst yourself who would like to be seated on that ad hoc, and with the understanding that that group of commissioners would study this in further detail than the full commission, and then bring back their findings to the full commission at the February meeting. And then with the understanding that the final recommendation to City Council has to be approved by a majority vote. So the final decision lies with the full City Council ultimately in terms of final approach, but the commission would be making a recommendation to the council. So
How many
And
people
so
are very
I
excited?
would like to be on that, and I wonder, I think there are a bunch of us that are excited to be on it, is my guess. What if we have more people, Noreen? What are our options?
Well, who doesn't want to be on it, on this
Yeah,
committee?
let's go with that. Maybe
Well-
I'm making an assumption.
So if you have a meeting of more than 3 of you, then you have a quorum. So that would have to be a publicly noticed meeting. It would be a violation of the Brown Act otherwise. So that's why most of our subcommittees are 3 people or fewer.
I could just submit my interest as a paper that could be, coordinated with other people. I don't have to be on this committee. I'm pretty busy, but I am excited about it. So I would like to step back if somebody else would like to join.
I think I'm fully committed. All right, I know a lot. I think I probably should, based on all the meetings I've been at. So I think I need to be on it. Anyone else want to provide or be in? Who's psyched?
I'm happy to be on the same page as Lisa, where if we needed extra hands, I'm interested in the project, but I don't think I particularly need to. And I think there's other people that are passionate about it and have more specific ideas.
Me too, as well. I'm on Lisa and Byron's boat.
Trudy's not here. I'd like to acknowledge that.
And Trudy was on the original ad hoc subcommittee for the project 5 years ago. So
She's very connected to the community down there and has a lot of experience. But what do you think?
So I would be happy to let Trudy be the third spot if she is so inclined. If she is not able to, given time constraints, I'm happy to step in and take Lisa and Byron's input into account.
Done.
Thank you, Christine.
Yeah.
I'll follow up with Trudy then.
Okay, great.
Okay. And then we can reach out to the ad hoc to determine next meeting date.
What's next? I've lost my page.
I believe we're at concerts.
Concerts in a park, new committee. I guess we're raising money. Is that what's going on? No, that got switched.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I've lost my page.
The next item would be concerts in the park fundraising strategy.
Thank you. I think there's an attachment here too.
Yes. And I will go ahead and turn it over to Jeff Franco.
Good evening, commissioners. So I'll just read the recommendation. This is to review the fundraising plan proposal and provide feedback to staff for soliciting donations, sponsorships, and other contribution suggestions to support the 2026 Summer Concerts in the Park series. Concerts in the Park have been going on for over 17 years now, and we rely on the community support through sponsors and donations, be it community businesses as well as community members. We use the funds to provide the music, the technical support, the marketing for the special events. Each year, city staff collaborate closely with the Park and Rec commissioners, local businesses, and residents to sustain these highly valued events. Over the past 7 years, average annual sponsorship revenue has ranged from $11,000 to $14,000. In the recent years, we have declined slightly. So we are looking to, and we started last year as well, looking to come up with a strategy to try to get back up to the $11,000 to $14,000 range. In your packet, and in the past, we have some additional ideas, and then want to open it up to suggestions of what you guys might have for additional suggestions for fundraising strategies.
Great. You want to? How's Zoom doing? Anyone on Zoom want to start? All right, Julie.
Oh, Lisa, you go first.
No, I'm just looking at the sponsorship information. I'm just gathering information at this point.
Yeah, and I guess my question, I'm in the same boat. Like, what is the deficit? Like, how much did we bring in last year?
The last couple years have been around 8,000. So not drastically lower, but a little bit lower than previous years.
And is that mainly due to declining sponsorships, like from companies, corporate or businesses?
Yes. And I have heard from some businesses that had previously sponsored and then haven't, that they are still recovering from pandemic times. So they are tighter with their sponsorships. So I'm hoping that might change this year, or each year over changes.
Thank you.
I think in terms of funding ideas, giving more of a readout to our sponsors between songs and stuff like that could be a good option. I understand the idea to limit that and, you know, people not liking advertising, et cetera, but I think at least with my generation, hearing the sponsors like read out is pretty normalized. And, you know, either at the beginning of the night or at the end of the night, reading through all of the sponsors could be a way to, you know, because a lot of the times, except for like the top sponsors, I couldn't tell you who the sponsors were even after attending those events. So that could be a way to bring in more sponsors even if they're just going to have their name read out one time. I think that could make a big difference.
I also want to, can I ask a question? Because I know that last year we did a big pass the hat kind of thing where commissioners went around to the crowd and asked for some cash to just be thrown in hats. And people were very generous. Did that make any dent in anything?
It was minimal.
It was minimal.
I mean, it helped. It was probably a couple $100s, but yeah, I don't know that commissioners really enjoyed that task. Renee says
Okay.
we hated it. Yeah.
Can I ask, because I also remember we did a push, like we sent it out to residents, like support the concerts in the park, and did a push there too. Has that revenue from just individual residents remained steady or declined or increased?
I would say individual residents has stayed pretty steady, decreased slightly, but most of the decreased revenue or fundraising would be from the local businesses.
What was the most popular sponsor level?
I would say probably $300. Like resident wise, it was probably 150. Business, it was the 300 to 600. So
there's so many people. I mean, the draw's there. To get your name on something like that for $50 to get your name on the sign is pretty cool. You know, maybe to lower that to get your name on the sign, you know, getting more of the people that are attending, you know, an opportunity to get their name on it as a sponsor and be a part of it, I think is the only idea I have. Just because it is a value that everyone in town loves, you know, and make them feel guilty, and they'll put their name on the wall. No, I think it would be cool to have, like, I'd love to have my kid's name on the wall for $50, right? Ruby and William sponsored, right? More of that, I think we can get more money, smaller money, but more donations at a smaller amount.
Jeff, I know like in the past, we've tried to hit up the big corporate pharma companies around here. I think like getting them involved too, like those bigger corporations that are in our town. And I don't know how much they come into the city to do recreational stuff, grab lunch, or maybe like book a park, right, for their summer stuff. Is just maybe asking that question. Oh, while you're here, do you want to support the concerts in the park, or some kind of like alignment with that?
They're going to need a higher starting point.
Yeah,
donation level.
Exactly.
Does Genentech have a
Yes.
band?
Yeah.
That'll bring them
Exactly.
in.
we do have a list, and like we've mapped out where all the businesses are, especially the higher level ones. So the last couple of years we have gone door to door and tried to find a contact. Sometimes we get stopped at the security desk at the bottom and hand our flyers to them, but we have tried to make a personal touch to face to face with people who have the power to give the sponsorships. So we will continue to do that this year as well.
Yeah, but
It might be helpful to have people in town who actually work at some of those places to be our contacts to getting in the door. I mean, just walking in cold as a city is not going to do it. But if somebody works there that actually lives in Brisbane and we approach them and say, can you get this to the right person? And are you willing to give us a contact? That's might be a better way to do it.
Did we get a title sponsor at 2,500?
Not this past year, no.
I would lower all those down, immediately.
We have totally different ideas on this.
Yeah, raise them up.
Well,
exactly, for corporate, yeah.
for corporate, yeah. But I'm just wondering, if we didn't get any, are we not going to get any more, right? And so,
I would say last year we got 4 of the gold sponsors. So
That's good.
4 at that level, and then the rest at the lower sponsor levels.
So the title goes up to 10 grand, and everything else gold is 12.5.
I think there's
That's
another,
good to know.
There's also another idea that Noreen had with the flags on the pole. I think you did this marketing or this promotion on each theme of every event that we would have. What is it? Not concerts in the park. It's the Derby. Is it the Derby one? And then it has the little cartoon on the main street with the flags. So maybe a dedication, or people love seeing their kids. Maybe it's a graduation or things like that, sponsored by this, right? Something like that on, what do you call it? The pole?
Street pole banners.
Yes, the pole
Yeah.
banners.
We talked about that from the perspective of the foundation doing fundraising and selling banners for, Faces of Brisbane or what have you, but that could be an option
And to post
for
it the whole
donors.
summer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think it'd be a good idea to have a representation of just actual faces. Look who's donated, look who graduated, and this is funding concerts in the park.
To add on to what Tom was saying and reconnecting it to what I had said earlier, I think the tier for a family reading out their name is a pretty appealing thing. At the end of the night, at the beginning of the night, and then that should be a different price point than a lower price point than a company getting their name read out.
It feels better too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I know we talked about song dedications and made that a thing that was available during the concert, which I think is a really fun idea. I just wasn't sure that the execution was there. I kind of wanted to do one, but I wasn't even sure. So I wonder if this is one of the first things that the foundation could take on, is kind of helping to connect the dots and sell those things and make them happen during the concert, or figure out where they belong. That might be something we put to the foundation. I also just want to say I really like the first 3 ideas that were in our packet. The Adopt a Concert campaign to encourage individuals or families to adopt a concert by covering some of the expenses. The Gift of Music donation, smaller donations than that of the sponsor package for those who want to make a difference but can't donate a larger sum. And the matching gifts, partner with local businesses to match individual donations. I think those were all good ideas.
It could be a moneymaker. Anything else? Any public comments?
I see Michelle has her hand raised.
Oh, cool.
So I will unmute her now.
Sorry. I definitely have ideas. And one of the most important ideas I have. I mean, Tom, you kind of hit on it when you said, does Genentech have a band? Well, Brisbane has several bands, and they're all professional and really excellent. Like Jeff Cotton and Aaron Cleveland's are not robots. Lee Valinsky Trio. Oh my God. I went to Pacifica to hear them. They are amazing. The Janky Band, who volunteered and played at the Mountain Solstice Festival that we had last year, and they were extremely popular, got people up dancing, and they always pack the Brisbane Inn. And, you know, Henry Salvia and Kathleen with the Flying Salvias, they are so popular and so talented. And, you know, the Roadrunners, who also played, you know, at the Marina Festival and played at for free, volunteered to pay for the Mountain Solstice Festival. And, you know, I've long thought that we should have Brisbane bands playing. Jimmy Leslie, oh my God, he is just incredibly amazing. I'm sorry he doesn't live in Brisbane anymore, but I would still call on him. Why are we paying booking agents to book these same old bands that play at everybody's city thing and charge $1 million and, you know, do all cover songs? I mean, yeah, we experimented with one concert in the park where we had like 4 Brisbane bands. Most of it didn't have continuity because you picked 4 really different groups, and they spent more changing out their equipment than actually playing music. And a long time ago, Brisbane, the city council made a decision to hire Brisbane people first if they were qualified for a job. And I think it should be true for the bands that we hire. Yeah, Tower of Power, you know, they have a big draw, but over half the people in the park that night weren't Brisbane people. I walked around, I looked, I know who they are, you know, and if this really is Brisbane's concert in the park, then we should really think about hiring Brisbane bands, probably at a lot less price, and certainly would be more supported by local donations. If I knew that I was donating to, you know, that Jeff Cotton and Aaron Cleveland and their band was going to come up and play, I'd be a hell of a lot more inclined to donate $50 than to hear, you know, some wedding band come and play a bunch of covers that sometimes they don't even do that well. I mean, yeah, some of them are really popular bands, but how much are we paying for them and how much are we paying to book them? So maybe instead of thinking about how to raise more money, maybe we can think about how to be more local and at a more reasonable cost, where the money that is spent on a band actually funnels back into our own community through our own talented musicians who often give their time and energy to perform for us.
You know, well said, Michelle.
That's my thing.
You know,
So-
really well said. You know, the only complaint I've ever gotten about concerts at the park is that we need a locals night, and I think that's something to consider and feels right to me. So,
Tom, I don't think we need a locals night. I think we need a lot of local bands, and each one can stand alone and do a 2 or 3 hour gig. They're being paid to do that in the city. They're being paid to do that at, you know, Winter's Tavern. They're being paid to do that at the Right Spot. And we should pay them the same, not underrate our own bands. That really made me upset that we kind of each gave them a little like audition. That was locals night. You know, we have better bands at our block party, you know, that play longer. So I really think we should think about that a lot, Tom. I mean, we have some really talented musicians in this town.
yeah,
And we should look to them first.
let's
So
talk
thank
about
you.
it. Yeah, great job.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that I'm always like for not going through like consultants or agents or stuff like that. And okay, well, that makes it simpler. But and I agree that if we can get a local band to play all night, then that's going to be better than any swap out, whether that be a local band or a not local band. I think same band each night. And I also want to say that like I don't think that the band, at least for me, the draw is never the band, right? I don't think the band needs to be famous or even particularly that good. The draw is some loud music that you're half listening to, food, community, people that you see 2 or 3 times a year in Brisbane. And so that can really be more of the emphasis, and that can save us a lot of money.
Great ideas. Absolutely. This is your night.
So mine are easy comments. Have we had a chance to talk to other communities along the peninsula to hear how they're funding all their different concerts in the park? Because like this happens in every town all along the peninsula. And I'm just curious, one, are they all having trouble raising the amount of money that they've had in the past? And two, maybe they have some unique ways to raise money that we haven't thought of. And so it might not be bad to tap into that knowledge base. Maybe a foundation? No, that wasn't what I was thinking of. But anyway, that's one thing. I think the other thing to keep in mind is that people probably know this, but maybe not, that the tax code has changed on getting a tax break for donations for individuals, and it's a big change. And it honestly, small donations now are essentially not useful. Anything under, I mean, it's almost anything under $2,500 is, you're not going to get a tax match. And so I don't know what it is for corporate, but just be aware of whatever is the new tax law. You should probably think about what that is when you're writing requests for like how much you're asking for from corporations.
Love that brain. Thank you. Can we move on to calendar?
Yes.
New business, commissioner calendar.
So in your packet, you have a draft document of the 2026 calendar. Majority of these items are carryover from past year. For example, annually we do program presentations to serve as just information, provide analytics and updates to commissioners. We're happy to leave those in if you continue to find them helpful. We can also take them out if you don't, or we can fine tune them and revise what you'd like to learn more about in the upcoming year. And then we have kind of built-in debriefs from events and so forth, as well as the things that we do annually, such as the commission reorganization and subcommittee assignments. And yeah, so we also in the last several years have done a workshop session, typically in March with the commission, to focus and hone in on kind of work plan and goals and initiatives for the upcoming year. So there's a couple of proposed dates in there. We don't have to solidify those tonight, but just to be an example of a placeholder for the calendar for 2026. So at this time, I'm happy to take comments or suggestions or proposed revisions. I will say that there was a tentative item under February, which was tour the Bank of America building with the city manager, because we anticipate that the commission will be heavily entrenched on Parcel R and Sierra Point planning. We're going to bump that to either March or April, depending on how the Sierra Point planning fleshes out. But otherwise, happy to take any comments or suggestions for agenda items for 2026.
Zoom? Anything?
I just wonder if we want to dedicate, I just think the conversation about Sierra Point will be extensive or could be extensive. And I wonder if we want to just, even put off the senior programs presentation to make more space for that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Any other comments?
This is also a living document, so throughout the year we can continue to bring this back and update. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the right or the wrong place to talk about potential new events?
I would save that for the events subcommittee. Are you on that subcommittee?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that would probably be the most appropriate, and then that can come forward to the full commission.
Sounds great.
I would, I like our March get together where we get together and have our powwow, whatever that's called.
Workshop.
Our workshop, yes, I like our workshop because it focuses us kind of for the year, and just it's a good way for me to focus rather than just being in meetings.
it's really great for new people too.
Mm.
At least for me when I was new. It was really solid, yeah, that must have.
So the tentative dates that we threw out for that were either March 21st or 28th. Do either of those dates work for the collective group?
March is pretty wide open, but I'd rather do it sooner than later.
Yeah, March 28th does not work for me.
The 28th?
Yeah, but
Okay.
March 21st does.
Okay, how does the 21st look for everybody else?
Good for me.
Good for me.
Good.
Not good.
Not good either.
Okay.
That's why I really liked Lisa's idea, I believe, to earlier, sooner rather than later, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's important, yeah.
Yeah.
Could we do March 14th?
Good.
I can't do March 14th.
Are Saturdays hard for people? Should we look for a different day
Or evening.
or evening?
We could do a Friday.
This is 3 hours, right, Noreen?
It's usually about 4.
Or 4.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Saturday works for me.
Christina, Saturday's tough for you.
Saturdays are generally fine. I just was going
not
out of the
lucky.
country for 2 weeks, and
Yay.
each of those weekends that were proposed were part of that trip.
Yeah, Saturdays are
What
tough.
about March 7th?
Yeah. Why don't we send out a doodle poll with a couple of
Great.
dates, suggestions? And if you have blackout dates that you know of, like Christine, you're going to be gone for 2 weeks, if you could send that to me. That way we don't propose any dates within that window, that would be helpful.
And Noreen, I wonder if it would be possible to include our foundation board members in part of the meeting, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could invite them for a portion of it if we were going to emphasize collaboration with the foundation as part of the
I
workshop.
think that would be great.
Critical. Great call. All right, anything else? Moving on to reports. Is this me? I just want, I am serious about honoring volunteers at every monthly meetings. I think that would be great to adopt. And if there aren't any that we can nominate, I think it should be on the sign and try to get people in here, and get people to go out and volunteer. And if they're called out at a meeting, they'll come in, maybe they'll bring their kids and kind of honor people like Renee and Trudy that are out there doing things on their own. So I don't know if we could try to adopt that. I also think it'll get ratings up.
You're
With Lou in the
obsessed.
back.
You're obsessed with ratings. I don't see why we couldn't do that at the front end of our commission meetings under presentations. We could add that.
Really quick.
Yeah.
How do we, well, I guess we can tease this out, but how do we nominate people? That's got to be a little process to that.
We can talk through that at the workshop.
Yay.
Yay.
That's it for me. Subcommittee attachments. Is there any other committee members that would want to say anything to add?
I have something.
Yay.
Just to throw out there because I'm very excited about our doggy dip event. That's coming right up.
We knew you would be.
Exactly. So I'm just raising the flag for the doggy dip, which is your one opportunity, probably, who knows ever, to get your dog in the pool, the Brisbane pool on January 31st. Small dogs are going to be separate from big dogs, and it's a once in a lifetime chance to just let your dog go crazy in the pool. So I hope to see you all there with your dogs.
And just PSA, this is going to be so much fun, and I fully intend to be there. But I think most dog owners know this, but it can be dangerous for a dog to get out of the pool. They can't figure it out. So you got to keep a close eye on your dogs when they're in the pool and it's time to go out.
Do our lifeguards have training for that? I'm sure. So the pool gets drained every like 5 years, and this is an opportunity to clog up the drain with hair. So that's what we're doing. Lisa's been waiting for this since I've met her. So
I haven't been. Sam has been waiting for this. My daughter.
there you go. Subcommittees. Who was there?
Public art
Public Art
from
Committee
November.
report.
Julie or Tom, you are
Were
the
you there, Julie?
liaisons.
I was there
Oh, great.
trying to remember something that happened before the holidays.
Would you like me to help?
That would be fantastic, Noreen.
Okay. We provided a master plan update and shared the updates to the dedicated web page. There's a call out for public art ambassadors, and we shared the interactive public art map. So you can go online to the city's website and click on any of the pins that are on that map, and it will tell you about the piece of public art, who the artist was, when it was installed, and so forth. And then we also had our Economic Vitality Officer, Mitch Bull, present, and he spoke with the Public Art Committee about opportunities to create synergy between local businesses and public art. And I think those were the kind of the core concepts from that meeting.
Thank you, Noreen.
Should we set subcommittee meetings?
So we will reach out to schedule the Sierra Point ad hoc subcommittee meeting. And then if there is an interest in scheduling any others, we can talk about those at that time.
All right. And H, I passed over. I already teed that off, but does any commissioners have anything else?
Subcommittees.
Staff?
Oh, Tom, we're still setting
Oh,
subcommittee
sorry.
meetings.
It's getting late, man.
No worries. No worries.
Let's do the meeting.
Byron, you mentioned events.
Yeah, I do want to get one of those on the menu at some point, but I figure it might be a good idea, especially for non-rushed things, to put that after Sierra Point.
Yeah.
Just for any overlapping members between those two.
Here we go.
I don't
So,
have anything.
Maybe we'll
immediate.
keep that on the horizon for like April.
Yeah, so I
Is
was
that
thinking
okay?
for like next meeting or something, I would try to set that.
Okay.
But I have no immediate need.
Okay. And then I'm hearing that there's a desire to have a concerts one because we will begin fundraising efforts and band selection. So we should schedule that as well. Currently, that's just Natalie and Julie. And Nicole is saying she can send out dates.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's what I wonder. Should we have another member of that committee?
Are we adding Christine?
Well, so typically we do subcommittee reassignments in April, and that allows new commissioners to get their feet wet a little bit and to decide which subcommittees they're interested in pursuing, unless you know for sure that's something that you want to do. But given that this is your first meeting, no pressure.
No, I do appreciate that Julia and Natalie were both saying Christine, right? I do appreciate the endorsement, but I did want to make sure I had a little bit more.
Yeah.
Go ahead, yeah.
Agreed in.
Agree. I didn't know they had it till April.
If we need a third person,
Sorry
I'd
about
be
that.
happy to hop onto that for just like the one, and then may or may not continue that after the reassignment.
You don't have to have 3. You can have a subcommittee with 2. So
I would love to have the third. Yeah.
Byron?
Yeah, I'd be happy to
Okay.
join. If it's no harm. I've
Yeah.
midterms haven't happened yet, so I'm okay.
Yeah, concerts is fun.
Okay.
Does staff have anything?
You know it.
Hey everyone, 2026 department report. As Lisa mentioned, Doggy Dip event January 31st. Registration is open for that. We currently, last I looked, have 30 dogs signed up.
What?
Yes. So,
It's a party. It's a party.
So We are excited for that.
Break out your furry bikini.
Whoa, I'm bringing my camera for sure.
Just a reminder. Yes, please, Tom. Just a reminder that the folks with dogs are not able to swim with the dogs. It's just dogs that are swimming at that time. But with the doggy dip event, we are having pool maintenance closure, and that will be a 2-week closure this year because the draining will take some additional time as well as some extra projects that'll be occurring. And then also on January 31st is the Artist Evening of Sharing event. There are 14 artists, I believe was what I last saw. We will be having a van, the van taking seniors that are interested in attending. Last year, I think there was about 7 that signed up. And so we did announce that today at lunch, and we'll promote it to the public that if there are seniors that want to meet at the Sunrise Room, we'll drive them over to Mission Blue.
Awesome.
Registration opens for summer camps on February 3rd. That's for residents, and non-residents, it's February 17th. You'll hopefully have the opportunity to come by and see the new art showcase at City Hall. It's beautiful. Kevin Fryer, A Crowded Room. There will be a reception for it on February 18th from 4 to 7 p.m. And if there's ever time that the room's being used, you can always contact Jovi and see if it's available to pop by just in case there's a meeting. Job recruitments, we do have a lifeguard position that is open, and now is the time. We are looking ahead for summer, always looking to have more lifeguards. Yeah, absolutely. And then LIT applications, I was going to check with Jeff, but I believe those either are open or will be open soon. That's our leader in training program for our summer camp program. I'm going to pitch it over to Noreen for the next update.
So I just want to provide a quick update regarding the Artful Bench program. The RFP deadline was Friday, and so I am pleased to say that we received 58 proposals.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. So I am sifting through them currently and packaging them up for the Public Art Committee, and they will review them on the 26th. But a really great initial response on this pilot program. The most applications we've had for a public art project to date. So very exciting.
To go along with art, there is a youth art show at the library until February 17th. Mob Shop is coming up February 6th and 7th. There's a parents' night out also on February 7th evening. Brisbane Village Helping Hands will host their 10th anniversary event at the Sunrise Room also on the 7th. And then the middle school dance will be held on a Thursday coming up right before Valentine's Day. So we're excited about those.
Are the dogs going to be safe while we're lifeguard down?
We will have lifeguards on duty.
All right.
And the pool will be heated for the dogs, just FYI.
All right, moving on to written communications. Anything?
No, although I know Chris has been. Do you have anything, Chris? Any public comment? Gotcha. Okay.
Is it time?
It is time to adjourn.
Let's adjourn tonight. Thank you from Zoom, and thank you, Renee. We're going to miss you. We are adjourned.
8:24.
8:24.